Sense.
You are live.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And, welcome to the new title, Governmental Operations and Advocacy Committee. So let's do the minutes of the prior meeting. Motion by Supervisor Driscoll, second by Supervisor Conover. Any discussion of the minutes of the last meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor of the minutes as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays, abstentions? Okay, carried. Let's any privilege to the floor? Okay. Mike is here to talk about a new contract with Spectrum for internet service. Mike, you want to go ahead and kind of explain that, please?
Good morning. So it's time to renew our contract with Spectrum. We use everything we have. We have the same service all the time. We also have this utilization reports, and we're using 90% of our bandwidth right now. And the way things are going, we're just going to keep using more. So trying to stay ahead of the curve, looking to do a contract, but increase our bandwidth. It'll increase our cost by $150 a month. And I have plenty of money to cover that this year. And so I'm looking for approval to do that contract. It'll increase us from 200 megabits a month to 500. And hopefully, keep us ahead of the curve of having issues later, because more and more is done on the internet than used to be.
Okay.
Second.
Motion put forward by Supervisor Conover, second by Supervisor Thomas. Any further discussions for Mike or on this topic?
Just the downside of not doing this would be that there would be things that we couldn't do.
Yeah, as people are trying to work on the internet, it'll slow, and what am I going to do? How am I going to get there, kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. I just want to make sure it's on the record.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Driscoll.
And if we don't make the expenditure now, the cost going down the road would be probably a lot more.
Yeah, we do it now so that, because the price just goes up over time. And kind of like a good history thing is we've actually are still saving money because we've eliminated phone bills for a lot of outside offices that are on campus, and we're using the internet for that. So we're still kind of ahead of the curve, and because we reduced all those bills from before. So even with that, we're still paying less than what we used to.
Thanks.
Okay. Put the motion to the floor. Everyone in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays, abstentions? Okay, that's done. All right, discussion on shared service.
So yeah, we talked over the years a little bit about doing a formal shared services for the towns. And so I just kind of put together my thoughts on how it might work. It just, as a beginning point, just wanted to get a conversation started to get everybody's opinion and thoughts of which way we should go or not go. So I kind of listed the things we've always done. And if a town wanted to come on and be supported by the county, some minimum services that we would require, you got to have a good, safe environment before we want to jump into something. And the process started so we can then start answering questions down the road about if we didn't want to put that time into it, if we didn't want to go down that road.
Halfway down with the services, about halfway down.
And I think, in years past, we talked about it, but we weren't really in a great position to do it. But COVID kind of pushed us there to support remote offices, and we've changed a lot how we do that. And by supporting a remote office and supporting a town is really no different. We actually have all this infrastructure in place now.
Supervisor Conover.
Yeah, I mean, I think having if I'm understanding you correctly, I think having a formal intermunicipal agreement that spells things out is always a good thing. No, it's absolute clarity.
Yeah, and I think we have to make sure that the county cyber insurance will cover incidents that occur in the towns in which we're doing business with and have to transfer agreement with. Because that's getting expensive too.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get the conversation started. I think of all these ins and outs. I, heard from other counties. We're not unusual. There's other counties, or towns there. So there's some groundwork that's been done already, but I hadn't really spent a lot of time on it. So I make sure we wanted to go that direction. But definitely want to take the time to get all those questions answered before we do anything formal for sure.
See, people are reading and thinking. Supervisor Conover.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if there's enough interest here today, maybe you could put something together.
Yeah, started finding out, asking what are the questions we have, and
Right.
with the proper office of the county attorney.
Spend more time on this, finally, in terms of legally and in documents, draft documents and whatever. And yeah, I would like to see those particulars. Sure. As one board member, one committee member. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
All right, here's the committee's interested in going ahead with looking at this, and so if you want to put together something a little additional beyond the introduction, is all you plan to do today.
Yeah, get to plant the seed and get the conversation started.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mike. Is there anything else?
Let's get some questions for me, or
Okay, not at this point.
All right.
but Sure, we will as we grow.
thank you.
Thanks. Well, we do have some items from the DOE Board of Elections. I don't see anybody here. But while we're waiting for them, well, what do you think about even year elections? It is passed the House, the Assembly, excuse me, and the State Senate. It is sitting on the governor's desk. Nobody knows if the governor will sign it. If the governor doesn't sign it, since they're out of session, I understand that by the end of the year, it will become law. If she vetoes it, and I know there's a lot of people, and there's even a sample resolution in your packet that came from the Sarasota County Board of Supervisors. And so while we'll wait for the Board of Elections to come in or come over, any thoughts on that? I mean, just to get things warmed up. My thought is that, right now on the odd years, the county and local elections have a special spot, and they get the focus and they get the attention. If we get in with every 4 years presidential, but you have the Assembly and the State Senate and the governor's races and everything else, I'm just wondering, will the local election people kind of get lost in the mix? Supervisor Conover?
Yeah, I share that same concern, and also you'd be moving all of that onto what's already a very full ballot. And then you have your amendments as well. And so, I mean, is the thinking that there'd be multiple ballots? There'd be a ballot for these folks at the federal level or whatever, and state, and then there'd be a local ballot. Because they can only, I mean, the page is only so big, and you can only put just so much on that page.
Right, Administrator Kaplan?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is one of the Board of Elections has brought to our attention that if we did this in even years, there is a possibility we'd have two separate ballots. One would be a local ballot and the national level, and get get lost in the shuffle a lot of times. The importance of the local amendments we want to put forward, as Supervisor Conover mentioned. The second point that they make is that they say it's going to save money. But it really doesn't, because we still are going to have odd year elections. And so the Board of Elections is still going to have to do, and they have the list of the number of people who would still be an odd number of years. So it wouldn't reduce the amount of work on the Board of Elections. It would just put a lot of the local county elections into the even year cycle, and they're definitely not in favor of it. Both the Republican Elections Commission and the Democratic Elections Commission have expressed opposition to this, as well as NISAC. NISAC's taken a strong position against it as well. Thank you.
Yeah, Supervisor Conover.
Yeah, and then, I mean, so you're gonna introduce that many more roadside signs into our community. I mean, in a way, I guess I'm making light of it a little bit, but what I'm saying is that, I'm not sure this has been thought out, throughout. All the dots have been connected on this, in terms of, not only the ballot and the clumsiness of that, I think we're selling back, but also everything else that's involved in all of this. It's kind of interesting.
Well, that's a different perspective. I mean, in your packet, you have talking points and you have the sample resolution that Saratoga County did. That wasn't brought up, but I think it's a great point.
How many are we going to
I
have?
think it's bad now. Wait.
Well, and then what you'll end up having is, when you consider the change in the primary season from fall to June, so now we're basically from perhaps sometime in May all the way through November, we're going to have these signs up and down our roads of people, it's like I say, I think that some real thought needs to be given to this and a little more input.
Yes. Thank you, Supervisor McGowan.
I've been asking around down the office and trying to get some help, because I've been, really looking into like term limits, 8, 12 years. To change it up into all the constituents tell me to do the same thing, or tell me the same thing, that they all believe in term limits, but I can't get one politician to even listen to the petition, and going on a term limit, it's paying you more money. And then at the end of your 4-year terms, if you're reelected, you go for another 4. I was thinking 8, some people put out there 12. But I like the odd year that we had for local, which would help someone that's coming in to offset, someone that might be exiting or someone who might be coming in, so they can hear, with one of the assembly people or in the local race, but you'll be able to work with, 2 different people in their particular time. So my consensus with the why touch it, it seems to work fine right now the way it is.
That appears to be the consensus, Brad. Any other further thoughts? I mean, it appears to be, we're pretty much in agreement that this isn't a good idea. Do we feel strong enough to vote on it in terms of sending, requesting that this be a resolution similar to Saratoga counties that would be put before the Warren County Board?
Mr. Chairman, what they've asked us to do.
That they were recommending that we send a letter from the chairman of the Board of Supervisors to the governor, and we prepared a letter for that.
Do we need,
We don't need a resolution.
we don't need a resolution?
Just consensus of the committee to send them that we move faster.
All right, well then, is it the consensus of the committee to send that letter that we would prefer to keep the odd year? All right, it's unanimous. And either other members who are not on the committee but are on the Board of Supervisors also appear to support that. So plenty of support there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Yeah, let's kill time. Wait for the.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the killing time era, the bottom line is the Board of Elections is in the middle of an audit and the county administrator is going to present their.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Well, there's nothing too dramatic before us, but we do have 4 action items. And so the first one is basically to amend the term of their postage agreement. And that's to change it to December 31st of 23, starting July 1st. And that's it. Just amend the postage agreement. Funding. And yeah, 22,000. Yeah, I didn't have that in my notes. So, yeah, well, I saw it down below. Number 2 was amend the budget. And if this gets approved for 22,620.96, yeah, Supervisor, just
Get the motion to batch 1 and 2 together.
sure. Sounds good. Seconded by Supervisor Bracci. Any further discussion? All right, let's put it to a vote. Those of you who are in favor of the amendment with the postage agreement and the amount $22,620.96, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Passes unanimously. All right, third item is to rescind resolution number 162 of 2023.
Because it's paper, but
Appropriated $29,100 from the election equipment reserve. For printers have grown in price, as everything has, and so they want to rescind that and return the funds to the election equipment reserve. Is there anything else I should add to that?
No, Mr. Chairman, that's just to return the funds and they'll look for additional funding and additional options.
All right, motion to get it on the floor. Motion by Supervisor Bracci, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Gotcha. Supervisor Driscoll.
Was that were those the printers that a month or so ago, some of us had the opportunity to look at over at the Human Service Building? Okay. Nice presentation, but unfortunately, they didn't tell us that the price would go up.
They didn't.
They like to get you interested in their.
Right.
Any other thoughts, sir? All right, let's put it to a vote. Those of you who are in the committee and in favor, please signify by saying aye.
aye.
Any nays, abstentions? Motion passes. Last item, amend budget. $67,496.53, additional funding under the New York State Board of Elections Technical Innovation and Election Resource Grant. So this is just to reflect the receipt of additional funding, as I mentioned. Bring it to the floor for discussion. Supervisor Conover, Supervisor Thomas. Discussion. Yes, Supervisor Thomas.
That's what paper ballots.
Reconditioning the old.
Supervisor Thomas, no, this is for technological innovation.
All right, goodness. Okay, no further discussion. All right, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. That's unanimous. Anything else in the good of the order for governmental operations and advocacy committee is title now is what it is. All right, I'll file a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Supervisor Gracci, seconded by Supervisor Thomas. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify